Hello, welcome back to Steve's Retirement Corner. Time to increase our retirement budget. Man, I've said on here before that we really don't have a so-called budget. We pretty much spend whatever we want or need. I mean, thankfully, we really don't. It doesn't take a whole lot for us to be comfortable or content in retirement. We use our checking account as sort of a forced budget. You know, we put in there what we're going to need for the year, and in order for us to spend any more, we have to go to get it from somewhere else. Another bank or another account. And thankfully, we ain't had to do that since I've retired. Uh, we That number I didn't just pull out of thin air either. That monthly amount we got going in there. Before I retired, me and Connie sit down for a few minutes one day and try to come up with a realistic budget, one that not only covered our daggone our needs, but also give us some money for some wants and some miscellaneous spending, and we add a little buffer in there too, just in case we screwed up. But it protects us for inflation. It protects us for any kind of little small emergency. Protects us from, acts as another little savings account if we don't need it. Because the money ain't going nowhere. It's gonna sit right there. But we come up with a yearly number we thought we could be happy with, and we divided it by 12. So that's why I put that one amount in there every month. We don't ever spend that. We either spend a lot less or we spend a lot more. Sometimes it just depends on the month, what we got going on, or what we decide to do. And the money that don't get spent on them lesser expensive months is there for the months when we do a little more. It builds up. It don't go nowhere. So, but I mean, the time has come. The thing is we made that budget in 21, so we're working on a 3-year-old budget now. I'm not going to do anything this year. Um, but I think next year I'll probably increase it about $4,000 a year, I believe, for next year. What it is that worked fine for us. That last year I worked. Last year I was employed. That we kind of used that as a dry run, and it worked fine. And last year, my first year of retirement, it worked pretty good. We started to eat into that little buffer we had built up. And this year we started eat into it a little bit more. So that little buffer's not, it's either not there every month, or there's a lot less of it there than there was when we first come up with the budget. So I like having that buffer in there. So we need to increase it to our budget in order to have that in there. It kind of works as my low fuel light in your car. You know what I mean? Whenever that thing comes on, it's time to start looking for a daggone gas station somewhere. Well, that buffer is my low finance light. It comes on, then I need to start thinking about increasing my budget, or either looking for ways to cut back. I don't want to cut back, so I'm going to increase my budget, because we're fine and happy with the way things are. But and the thing is that's what next year's where the daggone my first raise comes in. That truck payment. It's finally down to a level where we're comfortable with getting rid of that much money at one time. And so I don't know whether we'll pay it off. I don't know when we'll pay it off, but we'll pay it off before next February comes, when I get my next distribution. I was planning on doing it this fall, but I'm thinking, heck, it ain't gonna hurt nothing to leave it in there till we get our next distribution and then do it. But that takes up from my whole daggone buffer that I had in there. So, I mean, I ain't increased my income any, but I've reallocated my funds a little bit. How's that? And it puts me right back to where I want to be. You know, we could make it another year or two on the same budget if we wanted to, but there's really no need to. You know, I didn't want finances to be a problem in retirement. You know, I didn't want to have to chase a dollar, worried about where it was going here and there and stuff like that. I wanted to have enough in that daggone savings or in that checking account every month to cover everything, be able to spend without really thinking about it. You know, when it comes to a point when I got to go to the savings account and pull money out, something major's happened, and I understand that's going to happen, and you know, I know where it's coming from, and I know how much it's going to be. You know. But day to day, month to month, we don't even think about it. We just sign the check or do it online or whatever, and you know, it's paid for because it's in there. It's the way I set it up. It's the way we did it when I was working. The boy told me one time, I worked with him over here at the warehouse, straight back yonder, that's probably 2 miles back here to the main road. He said most people spend according to what they make. And so I figured the best way for me not to do that was only put in my checking account what I was going to spend, and everything else went to another bank, a savings account across town or next town over or whatever. Made it harder for me to get hold of, and it was, you know, I really had to think whether I actually needed that money or not before I decided to go over and get it. You know, and it worked out for us. And that's the same way we've carried it over into retirement like that. But it's you know, I've told that story about Dad being a nail bender, and when I used to go with him and Mama to their financial reviews once a year, every year. You know, a couple weeks before he'd come up that review, he'd be griping about how hard it was to make ends meet anymore and stuff. You know, he says, you know, we're making out okay. He says, but an extra $100 or $2 would be nice in the bank, you know, coming in every month, you know, make him feel a little bit better. And I'd tell him every daggone year, man, hey man, if you want it, get it. They'll send it to you. You're gonna be able to make it with, you know, even if you take out that extra. And he said, nah. He said, you know, I think we can make it another year. I didn't want that to be a problem for me. I didn't want to be like that. You know, it's just, you know, it's the same way as I can't see spending just because I can. I can't see, you know, watching every dollar just because I can, not because I have to. You know what I mean? It's the same way. It works the same way for me, or for us now in retirement. You know, when it comes to a point later on, if it ever does, it will be, you know, we have to, you know, then we'll deal with it then. But right now, there's no need for it. So, yeah, next year we're gonna bump our yearly budget up a little bit. We're just gonna bump our monthly budget up a little bit, because all we did was figure out how much it's gonna take a year, divided by 12. We put in an average. And like I said, some months, man, we spend a whole lot more than what goes in there. But then months where we didn't spend it all to begin with are sitting there for that month. It's like in May. I always say it's June because the bills due June 1st. It's when our first half of our real estate tax comes in and our personal property taxes are due. You know, and that month there, we spend almost double of what we put in there. But it's sitting there from them months we didn't spend as nowhere near what we put in there. I don't know, man. But it was something I've been thinking about. I think it's about time we, because next year will be 4 years that we're working off that same budget for 4 years. You know, I don't know. But it's something I've been thinking about. And oh, you know what? I took this week off. I didn't really have anything to talk about. And I just kind of wanted to kick back a little bit, so I didn't make anything. Tomorrow it's supposed to pour down the rain. It's supposed to be a washout tomorrow. I'm gonna get up, make sure the gutters are clear, and before it gets too hot, then I'm gonna go back in the house for a few minutes. But anyways, man, y'all take care of yourselves, man. You make the best out of the weekend you can, and we'll talk to y'all later.